my name's Phil. Welcome back to another episode of Vermont's 100 Covered Bridges. Today I'm at the Gold Brook Bridge, which is in Stowe. So welcome to a new county. This is the county of Lamoille. And I think there's 13, I can't quite remember. I don't know why I said 13 like that. It's because I was thinking. I think there's 13 bridges. This is the first one. So welcome not only to Gold Brook Covered Bridge, but welcome to episode number 75. I've got 25 left to do. I feel I'm almost getting there, the end of my quest. And what a bridge to be at for number 75. This is probably one of Vermont's well-known covered bridges, although not necessarily one of the most visited, with it being a little bit out of the way from everywhere. But it is, as you'll find out, certainly well known. Now, as if you're a regular viewer of the videos, you'll know that the video is sort of into two halves. I do what I'm doing now on top of the bridge, do the musical with the pictures, and then I go underneath, and that's pretty much it. This is going to be different. This bridge is going to be done in 3 parts, but I'm not telling you what the third part is yet. You'll have to find out. So let's take a look, and straight away I can find some things I haven't seen out on the bridges before. So let's go and find out. So Gold Brook Bridge, it was built in 1844 by John W. Smith, and it is a Howe Truss. Now, you may recall I've been to one Howe Truss so far, and that was the East Shoreham Railroad Bridge. And just to sort of remind you before I show you, a Howe Truss has a metal or a steel rod going vertical, and then the wooden cross panels at the side. So here's the metal rod and the cross, or the diagonal beams leading off it. Now, this is the only bridge in Vermont with a Howe Truss that you can drive or ride or whatever you want to do across it, because the East Shoreham Railroad Bridge was no longer in use for trains, and this is in use for vehicles. There are 2 others. We haven't visited them yet, but they're not wholly in Vermont. So this is the only one that is in Vermont wholly that you can still drive across in a vehicle. As you can tell, it's a short bridge, and it's 48.6 inches long. It's also then got this wire mesh on both sides, which I didn't see anything about in my notes, or why that is. Now, as well as the Gold Brook Bridge, the bridge does have another name, which is Stowe Hollow. And the reason for that is that road behind me up there is Stowe Hollow Road. Considering the age of the bridge, I say it's 1844, so it is one of the oldest in the state. Really, it hasn't had that much work and alterations to it. Certainly there's no I-beams underneath. But that's probably again due to the nature of it being in the sort of the back roads, that there's not that much traffic going over it to cause any damage over a long period of time. The roof certainly looks its age, as do all the beams. There's just a couple of new panels in that portal there. And looks like maybe that was hit, but it kind of come from the inside. I wonder how that happened. There's certainly nothing that's coming from this end and got all the way through there to then cause that damage. Someone's written, "Happy Halloween." Just keep looking around and fantastic little bridge, aren't they all? Well, I think it's time for me to do a little bit of scrambling and get down to the river. I think that way is my best way. I'll see you down there. Downstream, the Gold Brook Bridge. Let's go and take a look at these abutments. Obviously, nice bit of graffiti. The pure stone abutment, capped off the concrete. The same on that side. It is a great sight when you're at an old bridge. It's still got its original stone abutment. Obviously this one here rests on the natural rock, whereas this side is more of a concrete base, hence more easy to graffiti. Now, I imagine if I came here in October, I'd have probably been able to walk across that. But I won't be doing it today. What an amazing sight. And upstream, giving us a great shot of the bridge. And what about Gold Brook? Well, It's 5.6 miles long, and it starts in the Putnam State Forest and travels through Stowe, and less than half a mile from here it goes into the Winooski, which goes into Lake Champlain. Now originally it was the Gold Brook, but then somebody discovered gold. They were panning for gold, and they discovered a small amount of gold in the river, and that created a bit of a rush. Obviously people came down, and all the gold was taken, but the name over time changed from the Gold Brook to the Gold Brook. Downstream, the Gold Brook Bridge. So this here behind me is the remains of a mill, would you believe? There's a notice board, information board up there. I'll get the full details, but yeah, the wall, and there's a little bit left here. And yeah, there's a man there. What he's doing? He's going for a wash. Now, this is the 28th of March, and this man here is going for a dip. Rather him than me. I'm happy with my waders on. Anyway, I'm going to go in, get a better picture of the bridge. Wow. I mean, as you can still see, there's snow all around, and he's gone for it. So as always, it's great when there's an information board, and here we have obviously the bridge, and then this was the mill where I was in, Dutton's Sawmill, and all the information is there. So built around 1817, and what they did was opposite, or where the mill was, and the opposite side of the brook, they built a dam, so it actually became a mill pond. So that's really a cracking picture. And it says to about 1927, when the Great Flood destroyed the dam. So about 110 years, Dutton's Sawmill. And again, if I just zoom in, you can just sort of see there was where I was in the middle of it. It's a great picture of the mill pond. There's one thing about Vermont which I didn't know until I moved here, was that they have 5 seasons in the year. We always have the spring, summer, fall / autumn and winter, but Vermont also has the mud season, and that's where we're at today. Any of these dirt tracks that you end up on, especially around the covered bridges, it's just a mud bath. And he cleaned the Jeep yesterday as well to make it nice and clean for these videos. Oh well. The moon is out tonight, and I've returned to the Gold Brook Bridge to bring you the third part of the story. Now, I told you that the bridge obviously was Gold Brook Bridge, also known as Stowe Hollow, but it does have a third name, and that's Emily's Bridge, and it's Emily's story that I'm going to bring to you now. So there's a couple of versions of what happened to Emily, who was reputed to be a young girl entering adulthood in either the late 1800s or the early 1900s. The most well-known story is that her and her boyfriend were to meet at the bridge to elope, to get married. Apparently the boy's parents were a little bit disapproving of their relationship. Emily waited here by the bridge, but the fiancé failed to show on the very night they were going to meet, elope and get married. Out of despair, it's said that Emily put a rope up against the rafters and hung herself. And as a result, this bridge is reputed to be the most haunted covered bridge in America. If you go onto YouTube, there's scores and scores of ghost hunters and those interested in the paranormal coming down to this bridge. Many will say they heard scratches along the side of the car as they drove through, or that when they walked through, they felt a sudden cold chill through their bones. Well, I haven't felt that, and I didn't hear any scratches along the car either. If they're going to scratch my Jeep, I'm going to get out and give it some. I'm not having that. There's even been poems and songs written about Emily. Here's one I'm going to play for you now. And a good friend of this channel, good friend of the Vermont Covered Bridge Society, Mike Santasuso, is playing bass. So, here we go.
Wait for me, my darling, for I have some chores, you see. Wait for me in the covered bridge, my sweet, sweet Emily. I see the dawn arising on this hot and lonesome day. But life goes on without you, with words I cannot say. When the wind blows I hear you sing, when the leaves fall I cry. Emily, you're all that I see as you sleep through eternity. I went back there to meet her and somehow lost my way. She thought that I had left her, she thought I went astray. She hung herself from the rafters in the covered bridge that day. In despair she called my name, and it still rings out today. When the wind blows I hear you sing, when the leaves fall I cry. Emily, you're all that I see as you sleep through eternity. When the wind blows I hear you sing, when the leaves fall I cry. All that I see as you sleep through eternity. Emily, you're all that I see as you sleep through eternity.
What was the likely story behind the legend, behind the myth? Well, it's believed to have started around the 1950s or 60s, when teenagers would come down to the bridge, maybe have a little drink, make a campfire, and of course tell ghost stories. And Emily's story seemed to have spread and spread, and over time become folklore. To me, Emily is Vermont's version of the Loch Ness Monster. Didn't really happen, didn't exist. But hey, don't tell the locals that, because just like in Loch Ness, Emily is good for tourism. Certainly brings a lot of people down here, and not necessarily those who are interested in covered bridges, but come here they do. And it's not for me to tell them what's real and what isn't. We can all make our own minds up. But Emily, if you are here, this is your chance to make it onto Vermont's 100 covered bridges. And that's it for me. Good night. Once again, thanks for joining me in this episode. Hope you enjoyed that. A little bit different. It was the first time I've done filming at night at one of the bridges. I came to see Emily play. She didn't turn up. Once again, thanks to Vermont Covered Bridge Society for their help and support. A date for your diary, 6th of June in Lunenburg, is the Covered Bridge Society's spring meeting. So if you're in the Lunenburg area, get yourself down there, and we'll go and see the bridge there as well that crosses the Connecticut River and into New Hampshire. So I'm off now to film another bridge not too far from here. And I'll see you next week in another episode. Take care.
Wait for me, my darling, for I have some chores, you see. Wait for me in the covered bridge, my sweet, sweet Emily. I see the dawn arising on this hot and lonesome day. But life goes on without you, with words I